Today I'll be cooking like Nara Smith. I am ready to make kimchi. It's the best homemade burger I've ever had.
It's the only homemade burger you've ever had. Hot potato.
I need to give CPR to my mochi. Nara is a South African German model and social media sensation, best known for her viral TikTok videos where she whips up homemade meals made from scratch while dressed to the nines. She has over 9 million followers and Nara has become the queen of trad wife content. The first recipe we're going to try is one made for her husband, Lucky Blue Smith. He's one lucky guy.
My husband was on his way out to grab a burger when I realized that we had all the ingredients at home to make one. I got started with my dough for my burger buns, combined some flour, water, yeast, an egg, and some butter, and let that go until it all came together. Once it was soft and smooth, I placed it in a different bowl to rise for about 2 hours. Once it had doubled in size, I turned it out, formed those into little balls, making sure that they were all the same size. I then lightly pressed them down to flatten them out a little before covering them with a towel and letting them rise for another hour. Once they were puffy, I brushed them with some melted butter and also beat up an egg with some water to brush on top of that. And then I opted to sprinkle my buns with some sesame seeds. I popped those in the oven for about 15 minutes and got started on making a quick pickle. Sliced up some cucumbers and made my brine before adding some smashed garlic and peppercorn to that. I set that aside and got started on my patties, which was just some ground beef, and I smashed it really thin before seasoning it with some salt, pepper, and some seasoning salt. At this point my buns were done, so I let them cool and moved on to slicing all of my toppings, which were some tomatoes, red onions, some lettuce. The last step was frying my patties, so I got my pan really hot and seared it on both sides before adding some white cheddar cheese on top. And once that was melted, I assembled his burger with the patty, some tomato, and the lettuce on top. He doesn't like sauce on his burgers, so I put some homemade ketchup on the side.
Welcome back to my kitchen. I don't know if you can tell, but I actually made effort today. Like, I did a little bit more of a heavier glam, wore this dress, even though it like doesn't fit me because I'm 5 months pregnant. Not gonna lie, Nara Smith's recipes are intense. So I'm gonna need a sous chef. Zen is not here, unfortunately. So I've got the next best thing, Alfred Tran. Welcome on set, Alfred. The only other option I have is Alfred. Wow.
Wow.
Hello. Do you need help?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, don't you just love our professional production? Let's make the dough. Unfortunately, Nara has this habit of not really telling us how to make what she's making, as in there's no measurements. Sometimes she misses a few ingredients. So I just asked the smartest person I know, not even a person, I asked ChatGPT to spit out a simple bun recipe that I could make. So we're trusting in you, ChatGPT. I'm going to make my wet mixture first, which is just 200 mils of warm water with 5.5 grams of instant yeast and a teaspoon of sugar. I'm gonna let that sit for a couple of minutes until it gets frothy and alive. For flour, I'm using all-purpose flour. I'm throwing in 400 grams. In that, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of butter at room temp, crack in an egg. No shell, please, no shell, please. Yes. I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and then pour in my frothy yeast mixture and pop that on my machine Tocket guide to blend. I think that's looking good, even though I've never made burger buns. I'm going to pop it into a bowl, cover it with cling film, and then let it rest for 2 hours. I don't know if you guys noticed at the beginning of her video, but she said her husband was just about to step out to get a burger, but then she realized she had all the ingredients at home. So I feel like Lucky Blue Smith is one patient guy. Someone else needs that kind of patience here, Alf. Even I don't have that type of patience. Would you be mad? I don't know, if like you're really hungry and then you're like, babe, I'm just gonna head out, go to drive-through, get a burger, and I'm like, no, sweetheart, I've got all the ingredients.
Just give me 6 hours to make this. I'll be furious.
6 hours later, Alf's like a skeleton on the couch. Our dough is rising. Look at that, it's getting bigger. but it's only been an hour, so there's still room to grow. Meanwhile, Alfred and I are studying Nara's video and we realized that she made a quick cucumber pickle that was not even used at the end. Do I make the pickle? How long does it even take for cucumber to pickle? As little as 30 minutes to 1 hour. However, for best flavor, it's recommended 2 to 4 hours. Okay, we're not making it. We're just gonna use pre-made pickles. Look how big she is. Wow. Whoop. I'm gonna divide my dough up into 8 pieces. She flattens them out slightly and then covers with a tea towel to let it rise again. It's been 45 minutes. Let's check on our burger buns.
Ooh.
Next, I'm gonna brush it with a little bit of egg, milk, and melted butter. I think this is what's gonna give it like that nice golden color. It's like I'm putting on a face mask for each of them. Stay hydrated, absorb it in. They're all nice and coated now. And then I'm gonna sprinkle on some sesame seeds. Oh, this looks profesh. This looks like a burger bun now. Our oven is preheating. We're going to cook these babies at 190 degrees for 15 to 18 minutes or until golden brown. Why are your hands all purple? What is that from? Okay, let's continue. Alfred has purple fingers out of nowhere.
So glad I had lunch before this video.
Yeah, we actually both ate before filming because we just knew that it will take forever to film this video. I'm gonna quickly slice up my purple onions. Now I'm gonna slice my tomatoes. She had really fancy tomatoes.
I know. I was like, is that a capsicum?
It
or
almost
what?
looked like a funky like capsicum pumpkin tomato Frankenstein. I've never seen bougie tomatoes like that. Then again, we ain't bougie. I've got my mince here, my beef mince. I'm just going to season it with salt, garlic powder, of course.
That's a lot.
I was holding back pepper. And then hit it with some onion powder. I'm just gonna mix that up. So Nara makes her patties by forming a ball first, and then she squashes them between 2 pieces of baking paper. Yeah? I can see our burger buns, they're like puffing up. They look so good. Alf, get that shot. That actually looks so good. Let's cook these patties. Yes. Ugh, wait, how come it's not even? Like that middle one's like, you're gonna look after the meat, Alf? Oh, okay, you there. Shuffling around. Why are you guys all different? Back here. Oh my gosh. This is what happens when we're trying to multitask. I can't see. This is too tall.
Stop again.
Oh my gosh. How romantic. It's like the Titanic of cooking. Oh man, some of them are like golden, some of them are not. What do I do? That should be done, right? It's hard work. We did it, guys. We got a mix match bunch of buns, but they look good and they smell freaking awesome. The moment of truth. Ah, it's so hot. Why are our neighbors drilling? We didn't chew cheese over our meat. OMG. Oh, it's because we were trying to multitask and it was all going wrong. Does my cheese need to be melted on there? Let's pretend it is. Alfred Tran will assemble his own one. Lucky Blue Smith style. Couldn't find a toothpick, but he'll just use his skewer.
This is the smallest burger.
Do you want sauce?
No, I'm Lucky Blue Smith. I don't have sauce on my
He has
sandwich.
sauce on the side.
Oh, the pickles. We ain't gonna make that rookie mistake.
Yeah, add the pickles in.
have
Alf,
it
there's no
all
point of you having a toothpick in because you're so tall that you're not even in the shot. Like you're crouched down. Do you want ketchup or do you want my homemade barbecue sauce?
Okay, I'll try your homemade barbecue. You want half it?
No, I want
We'll
my
try
own.
together?
It's so small.
All right.
Guys,
Oh my
visually,
gosh. Our first meal.
we finally made our first meal. How long did it take us? Freaking like 3-4 hours. Bon appetit. It's a burger.
Is it the best burger I've ever had? No.
It's the best homemade burger I've ever had.
It's the only homemade burger you've ever had. I'm used to like a soft bread. This is a bit more like dense.
I agree. The bread is a little bit more dense, but it's still very soft. It's just not like as light as the burger buns out there, but I really like it. I mean, we did slave away the whole day to make this, so I have to like it. Mummy make you a burger.
I want a burger.
Big bite.
Big one.
Ow.
Cheers. Mummy's got a really big one. Cheers.
Yummy.
Yummy.
Mm.
Really likes that. Mummy made this one from scratch.
There's a song.
Oh, like the Justin Bieber song. Yummy, yummy, yummy. It's a hit with Lila, guys. She likes our homemade burger. Even quoted Justin Bieber. I'm gonna rate this 1.5 thumbs.
Same.
If I was served this, I would not complain. It's good.
Yeah, I'd eat it, but I wouldn't wait 4 hours for it. Let's be honest.
That's the difference between Lucky Bluesmith and Alfred Tran. The lack of patience. Does not appreciate that your wife made this from scratch. If you love mochi ice cream, here's how you can make it from scratch.
I couldn't stop thinking about strawberry mochi ice cream since I finished my last batch a few days ago. And since it's summer and berries are so good right now, I decided to take full advantage of that. Started by chopping up my strawberries and letting them sit with some sugar while I got started on my ice cream base. I combined some milk, heavy cream, vanilla, some sugar, and gave that a really good mix. I set that aside, blended up my strawberries, and then combined that with my milk mixture. Once that was all incorporated, I chilled that for about an hour before pouring it into my ice cream churner and letting it churn for about 20 to 25 minutes. Once it reached soft serve consistency, I spooned it into my tray, popped that in the freezer for about 4 hours. Once it was completely frozen, I scooped tiny little balls onto this baking tray and let those freeze while I got started on making my mochi dough. I combined some glutinous rice flour, cornstarch, some powdered sugar, and some water. I wanted my mochi to be pink, so I added some pink color to it before heating it up, and once it came together, I rolled it out and then took a cookie cutter to get perfect round circles to spoon my ice cream into. I pulled my ice cream out of the freezer in batches so that it wouldn't melt, placed my tiny scoops inside the mochi, and then wrapped it all around. The ones I was eating immediately I put on a plate while the others went back into the freezer. This was absolutely divine and hit the spot.
Unfortunately, strawberries weren't in season for us. I feel like our strawberries are a little bit light in color, but I did slice them up and coat them in sugar, so they've been sitting here for a little bit. Now we're gonna make the ice cream. I've never made ice cream from scratch before. In goes 180 mils of heavy cream and then 60 mils of milk. We don't have the fancy vanilla pods, we're just doing vanilla extract. In goes the strawberries, in goes my sugar. Okay, now we just blend it. It's looking good, it's tasting good, the right amount of sweetness. I can taste the strawberry. Now she puts it in the fridge for about an hour and then uses her ice cream churner machine to churn it and then freezes it for another like few hours. To save time, I saw this hack on TikTok, of course, another TikTok hack, that you can use sandwich bags and ice and a little bit of salt to shake your ice cream into a soft serve consistency. Apparently it only takes 5 minutes. And since I have Alfred here, why not try it? How many people have ice cream makers at home? Not us. You want to release as much air as possible. Voila, ice cream in a bag. Next, pop like 1.5 cups, 2 cups of ice. Put this guy. And then you need like rock salt because this will get it very cold. Sprinkle that on top. And then you start shaking it for 5 minutes. Get out, my hand's getting frostbite, so you go.
Hot potato.
Moment of truth. Does not feel soft servy. It looks the same to me, guys. Let's just pour it out. Maybe we needed more salt and ice. It feels a little bit thicker. It's cold. Is it ice cream? It's melted ice cream. Definitely did not shake it long enough. Not quite a soft serve consistency. I'm just gonna pop it in the freezer. Maybe don't try this hack out. My ice cream is kind of frozen, not really. I'm gonna throw it into my mixer to see if I can turn it. It's very icy at the moment. I don't know if this helps it make it creamier and not so icy, but just trying to replicate what she does. And now we continue waiting. It's been almost 2 hours. Let's check on our ice cream to see if it's scoopable. I'm gonna use a little spoon because I don't actually have an ice cream scoop. This is my bowl. It's melting already. This is not working out for me. My balls are melting. This is going back in the freezer for another hour. Waiting for this ice cream to freeze is like waiting for paint to dry. It is painful, especially if you're craving mochi ice cream that day. I'm gonna work on the mochi wrappers. For this, I'm using about 8 tablespoons of glutinous rice flour. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar and also 1 tablespoon of powdered sugar and a couple of drops of the strawberry flavor. Then I'm gonna add 100 ml of water. Give that a mix. I thought the strawberry flavor would have more color, but it's looking very light. Maybe I'll do a couple more drops. Now we're gonna cling wrap it and then microwave it for 1 minute. With a wet spatula, I'm going to mix it. Definitely needs another round.
I don't feel confident about this one.
You don't feel confident?
No.
I feel like it will taste good if we're able to wrap the ice cream, because when I tasted the ice cream, it tastes good. It's just making everything from scratch and combining it and waiting for the ice cream to freeze. It's killing me. The day is gone. The day is gone. Hot, 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 hot. Do not burn your fingers. Oh yeah, it looks like something's happening. Oh, it's getting mochified, right? I don't really know how I can fold this. Is this right, guys? Let's go again for 30 seconds. Can you overcook mochi?
I think we just did already.
Hot. Not shiny. What happened? Maybe we just didn't mix it enough. What do we do? What do we do? Now, what did hers look like? Definitely not like that. Hers obviously looked perfect. Well, that... I might just go again. We said if it's not shiny yet, go again.
Please.
I just want to eat this freaking ice cream. Nothing has changed except my self-confidence. I don't know where this is heading, guys. Like, I really don't know how I'm going to make this work. I'm trying to get this thing out of my bowl. Oh! Can I beat some good looks to it? Beat it to look better. Not happening. She uses cornstarch and rolls it out. Ah, it's hot. Maybe I can roll it and make it smooth, like, you know? It's a little bit lumpy, but if we look past that, I think it's working.
Cut it out, right?
It's hot. I'm not even exaggerating. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Fast, 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 fast. Something's happening. This is like an ab roller. Except that I'm definitely not gonna have abs. All we need are 4 good pieces, guys. Cut her into them. Mum will buy jackfruit tomorrow. Lila just suddenly wanted jackfruit. Like, how do I make that from scratch? How do I make that from scratch, Nara? What do I do with this excess? Make it into a snack. Little chunks, like instead of boba balls. You put it on top of ice cream.
What are you doing?
Well,
It looks like something I won't say.
Don't even. Don't even. OMG.
Tell me it's not me.
It looks like chicken breast. It looks like raw chicken breast. This is like mochi balls. Do you want to try one? Yeah, try one. Try it. Flavor's there, guys. Flavor's there. Texture also. The look, completely not there. It's the moment of truth. Time to assemble our mochi ice cream balls. I just put the ice cream on top. Now I'm just wrapping it around. Ta-da! It actually looks pretty good. This one is an odd shape. Oh no. Too much ice cream. Oh no, that one. Oh no. I think I might have to eat this one. I gotta eat this one.
Just go.
I can't. Oh, cold. This is really good. You just gotta make sure that you get the right ratio, because it's really hard to wrap if you put too much ice cream. Our mochi balls. Oh my god, it's dripping already. I need to give CPR to my mochi. We waited, but not long enough. It's still like a little bit more squishy. It's not like super hard, you know, when you buy it at the supermarket. Cheers. I have sensitive teeth. Oh, sensitive teeth aside, taste is absolutely amazing. If this was served to me, I'd definitely give it a double thumbs up. But if I had to endure making that again, I'd give it like a 1 thumb. It's so tedious, it's just so like, and because we don't have an ice cream maker, maybe life would be a lot easier if you have an ice cream maker. Not worth the effort, but taste is really good. We need a moment for Nara Smith, because she slaves away in the kitchen and I just can't can't do what she does. Now, what do you do if you can't sleep at night? You make kimchi, of course.
I couldn't sleep last night and realized that I had a head of Napa cabbage in the fridge and hadn't made kimchi in a while. So I decided to go downstairs and do exactly that. I cut my cabbage into quarters and took the core out before slicing it into smaller pieces. I'll sprinkle them with salt, massaged my cabbage, and then topped it with water, and then let that sit for about 2 hours. I poured all that water out and rinsed it a couple times. I grated some garlic, ginger, put that back in the bowl with some fish sauce, sprinkle of sugar, and some red chili flakes before giving that a good mix. While that was sitting and getting to know each other, I peeled my daikon radish and sliced it into matchsticks before moving on to cutting up some spring onions. Once all my prep was done, I put all of my vegetables into my large bowl and started mixing that really well, making sure to get everything coated evenly. I then started filling it into my jar. I had to try a little bit just to make sure it was perfect. Then I screwed the lid on and let it stand for 4 days at room temperature to ferment.
I am ready to make kimchi. I feel ridiculous. Nara wears this like sequin red sexy dress. When I searched sequin dress, this is what I found online for $20. So we're going with this. Hers probably costs like in the $2,000, $3,000. We're going with $20. We're going with budget Nara Smith. I totally forgot about this Napa cabbage. You can tell because there's a bit of like fridge burn on it. Alf, do you want to come? Alf didn't want to know me just then because I walked out and he's just like,
Wow.
you said wow, but that wasn't even like a good wow. It was just like, wow.
No.
It wasn't like, oh, wow. It's like a whoa, whoa, whoa. Take a mental picture, guys, because this is the most glam I'll ever be. I'm gonna show you my shoes. We're doing newsreader style on the feet. Cut it in half. Basically, you want to take the core out. Do you remember that time I made kimchi in Korea? I remember I made it, but I don't remember how I made it. Now we just slice it down the middle and do like bite size. I need a bigger chopping board. I'm gonna pop a lot of salt on this. We want to draw out the moisture in the cabbage. I'm wearing gloves because I have a little boo-boo in my hand. Massage that in. Pour in the water. We need to submerge the cabbage. We need a plate. If you can't find a plate, I'll just have to stand here for 2 hours and press it down. Professional kimchi making, guys. This works. It's just Nara Smith probably not approve this aesthetic and this shot, but it works. Now we need to wait for 2 hours. Crying on the inside. Now I'm gonna drain this and give it a really good rinse and do this about 3 or 4 times. Me in my dazzling dress, washing my cabbage to make you some nice kimchi. If only you could see Alf shaking his head, man. Now we're gonna make our marinade. So in goes grated ginger and garlic. Then I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of fish sauce. Then my gochugaru flakes, the Korean chili flakes. You can obviously adjust this because if you want it spicier, add more. If you want it less, add less. We also need 1 tablespoon of sugar. Then I'm gonna give it a good mix. It smells good. This part, it's going, the spices in my throat. For this, we definitely need gloves. I'm hoping that I don't get any on my beautiful sequin dress. Actually, I don't know how Nara does it. Like, she wears the most fanciest clothes and it seems like she doesn't make a mess and get it all over herself. I've already chopped up my radish and spring onions, so I'm gonna pop that in first. Then I'll pop in my cabbage and it's time to get massaging. I think this outfit is having the opposite effect on Alf. He's like shriveling up and getting like so turned off. Oh my gosh, it's on my dress. It's on my belly.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, if it was only on the sequin, we can easily wipe it off, but it's on the mesh part too.
I think that's why she wore red.
Ah. That is why. This is actually looking really good and it smells good. Will it taste good now? I don't know, but let's go in for a little taste. Oh man, that's hot. Oh, that's so spicy. Salty, a little bit of sweetness, lots of spice. Now I'm gonna load it into my fancy container. No, not fancy at all. Did you guys see the jar she used? It was like excessively big. I don't know if that affects the fermentation process, but it just seemed like a really big jar. I tried a little bit. It's got a kick. It's not for the weak. It's so spicy. Girl, too spicy? It's okay, we can handle it. Maybe once it's fermented, it'll be better. I'm gonna leave this at room temperature for about 1 or 2 days, and then once it starts fermenting, I can put it in the fridge and then slowly enjoy it. So we will cut back into the future when it's time to try. We messed up, guys. We messed up big time. Our counter is stained with red marks everywhere. How? How do I get like kimchi juice off the counter? This was going well until it wasn't. It's been 3 days since I made this Nara Smith kimchi. Let's try it out. It should be fermented by now. Oh, can you smell that? It smells like kimchi. It actually looks really good. Bottoms up. It definitely tastes more sour. Not super sour though, because it's been 3 days. After 2 days, I popped it in the fridge, and I feel like the spice level has kind of gone down a little bit. When I first tried it right after, it was really spicy, but now it tastes pretty good. I think I'll have to rate this a double kimchi up. All I need is some rice and I'm good. We have come to the end of the day and this video, but if you guys want to binge watch more cooking recipes, I have a whole playlist. Click the video on screen and help this mama get to 4 million before baby number 2 arrives. Hit subscribe, please. I'll speak to you guys next time. Bye.